Okay, we can do Sunday stuff. This was a MTX bass slammer, dual 12-inch enclosure. Bass slammer! Oh no, sledgehammer, sorry. My bad. It's ported, which is very nice. It has these little 250 watt, 300 watt 12s that were in it, and I thought it was kind of a waste of an enclosure because these are very nice, very strong enclosures, so I wanted to put something beefier in here. And there was a little amplifier built into it in that little socket that we took out. And then we went ahead and put in one of our beefy terminals, which are only $10 shipped. And that was from one of the Diamond Audio buyouts. I think Diamond Audio, Ricky Farr was, and crew was developing some sort of home or OEM project. And these are the nice ones from Tecate down in Mexico. So that's who Orion used for their terminals. But these are really nice. They're solid brass. And then let me show you the inside. So they just use bolts. You can use like eyelets, eye terminals, ring terminals, that sort of thing. But I didn't want to use the original subs on these, which is the MTX 4500. And in this version of the 4500, which is, you know, like a little magnet, probably, yeah, 250 watts, maybe 200 watts. And then it used a little 200 watt, looks like a regular Class AB that was inside the enclosure. I don't know if you could see that. So it was just sticky taped in there. What is that? Oh, those are just fibers, strength fibers. And then there was the interface. So bass knob, which is their little phone cable. The MTX was using that long before anybody. And then I think I have the Molex for this. 20 amp indicates 200 watts or thereabouts. Then it has crossover and then gain. So, but I'll use this for something else. What was interesting was it's very, very small, but each one of these is 0.7 ohm. I'll check the DCR in a little bit. So they were wired in parallel. So this is probably half ohm stable amp, maybe quarter ohm. I'm surprised they even have a transformer on it at that point. And this may just be, if this is Class D, this was just an output transformer, and they're just using the rail voltage of 12 volts to give it to it. I don't know why they would do the switching. Again, I'm not an amplifier expert, but I would love somebody else to chime in and indicate what you take from this design. So I may talk to tech support on Monday. This is copyright 2003, MyTech Corporation. And just, it's 4 devices. So 50 watts a device, 200 watts, not a lot of heat sink and air cooled. So, but anyway, so what I'm going to do with these is wire them in series for about a 1.5 ohm load, and then use a probably like a 1 ohm Class D, probably the RED from Recoil, RED 600.1. So, and I'm curious to find out how the the DI 600.1 will do. So, because your guys are always talking about box rise, you got to compensate for box rise. You don't really, but when you do that, when you run an amplifier slightly below its rated impedance, all you're doing is hacking the amp. You're not really going. That's not really a subwoofer hack. That's an amplifier hack. Amplifiers can actually play down to quarter ohm, just not very well, and you need very, 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 very little signal in order to bring them to full power. Okay, so that's what happens when you drop the impedance on an amplifier. But again, what am I? I'm just some jerk that jacks off in his garage. I think these are the 1.5 voice coils, real small, but real efficient. And then, what's funny is whenever you see a design like this, you wonder, especially because it's here in the Valley, like if the same engineer that designed this back in 03 went to like JL and repeated the same thing, but for JL. I talked to you guys before about those powered subs that were like 0.5 ohm or something like that. And then it was only an 1.5 inch voice coil, real heavy duty inside, but it slinkied because it was just too powerful. This one looks like it's about 50% rated power, meaning it's a 200 watt amplifier. And then the subs look like they're good for about 400 watts. So the reason why they do that is so you can play it all day long. And that's actually the recommendation that I make whenever somebody, wants a subwoofer combo to play all day long. So if it's 1,000 watts in subwoofer, that's what it's rated. You want to have like a 500 watt amp on there, and then you get to run it all day long. This is another project I'm working on this morning. This is the super shitty, who is it being by? Who is that? Obcon. This is let me get a shot of that so you can see that. The OBQ87, it's for the Dodge Ram. It is for two 12s, it's way too small for 12s, really. And what you have to do is put a sub in there with a lot of BL. Now, he's on a budget, but he has a Soundstream, those like Tarantula 6Ks. It's real small, it's a Brazilian amp. And so I'm like, maybe we should wire that like at 4 ohm or something like that, just to kind of take it easy on these subs, because these are the Recoil PW12s, and they're only good for about 700 watts. What I like about them is that the VAS is kind of high at about, I think, 2.6, that's right, 2.6 cubic feet. And so what we're going to do is basically put them in a sealed box. In fact, we're going to try to clog the port to see if that helps in being able to equalize, because again, when you're putting a subwoofer in a sealed box, all you do is need a little bit more power, and which we have plenty of, and a little bit of EQ, right around 35, 40 hertz. And it ends up sounding pretty good. So we already took off the boot to try to make it fit. That's a little trick you can do sometimes. Sometimes, a lot of times on the P3s, we do that because the boot on the P3, Rockford P3 is so big. And then they put the fucking terminal right there. It's like, I think it could have been better, but anyways, that's where they put it. Sometimes they'll put it like here or up front or something like that, but that's where they put it, and it barely fits in there. Pretty good. You can feel a little bit of a lip on the outside. It doesn't quite go down, and then when you look at it over here, you can see that it's hitting into the wood. So I'm going to go in there with a grinder and see if I can grind that out a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and put a piece of sheet metal. That's what we did with this one, this custom one that we got from the Jalapeno. And these are amplifier bottom covers. I got a shit ton of them. Again, because it's just good steel to have, good sheet steel. If you go to try to buy that, it's expensive. So I just keep a bunch around, and because it stacks so well, it doesn't take up a lot of room. I save the aluminum ones as well. You can make templates and all kinds of cool stuff out of them. That's why I keep them. But I'm going to go ahead and grind these out, and then I think I'm just going to hardwire out the port for now, and then I'm going to stuff maybe some socks or something like that in the port to see if it does better sealed or ported. Sometimes the tuning, I don't know what it's tuned to. I'll look it up online, but if it's tuned too high, sometimes it kind of fucks it up. Unless you're listening to like banda, then it might complement it. So again, you don't know until you try. But that was another project I'm working on. Oh, so Robert's back. Robert was the one that he blew up the GONZO Junior, and then with like a punch, was it maybe a punch 1000 or a T1000? I can't remember. Anyways, it's one of those Rockford 1000 watt Class Ds, and I'm like, dude, I think you're like clipping really hard, because you really shouldn't be blowing these, or you're just asking too much. So this originally was a restack that I did on a Rockford T2 motor, and him and his fuck toy, I don't even call her his girlfriend. I'm like, who was that chick? Because she was all like trying to like, don't treat my man that way, you know. I was like, whatever. And then he came by, and I was just like, who was that? He's like, this is my fuck toy. Like, okay. So, but he was a little more forthcoming when she wasn't around, because he doesn't have to impress her. But he went ahead. He works at a mechanic shop, and so he was able to turn this on the wheel. I don't know what it's called. I mean, it's basically a lathe, but they use it to turn brakes to even them out when sometimes they get warped and things like that. But I went ahead and had him turn this open so that we can put an 8-layer in it. And then, we kept this the same, but he stripped it all down. He got all the paint off, it's like an E-coat, this part right here. It's like a very light powder coat that they do over in China. But this is the version 2, but that used the black frame of Rockford T2. And so we're going to go ahead and put an 8-layer in it this time. he went ahead and opened it up. It happens to, yeah, I hear fly. It has the 5-inch hole pattern, and then he was able to salvage this Mr. Music Man 15. He gave me a little tip, which was nice. It was on there like that, and I said, good luck getting that off, because I got 2 of them that I can't get off. And he's like, I just take a torch to like right here. And he popped it off, and I was like, okay. Sometimes if you take a torch too much, it fucks with this gap, and then clink, it's shifted. So he didn't want to go with the 15. He wanted to go with an 18 this time. So I told him I would take this dead motor, and then he brought some steel with it, and this frame, which of course I can use this frame, to trade for an 18-inch TI frame outright. And then he's going to pay for new magnet stack, which I already have another quad stack ready to go. So 220 millimeter Volcano audio, Crucible, American made, Kentucky made, ferrite, and then we opened up the gap, so now he can do an 8-layer, and hopefully this time he won't kill it. I'm also going to use 2 of the web shooter spiders this time, and then also, what else? No, I think I'm just going to do, it's a D2 coil. It's from Lord of Bass. It's the one that ends in 8.9. I think it's a 70 millimeter wine height, 8-layer aluminum. But I use it a lot, so I order a bunch of those. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in there. Try that out with the TI frame. And then, of course, Gonzo cone. But again, I just want to get him rolling and get him, I think he just wants more bass. So even if you put this 18 in like a sealed box, again, all you need is a little bit more amplifier power and a bass boost, and it should sound pretty good. So I've done that since the 90s, and it works pretty good. Of course, the preferred is just a regular ported box. That gets you the widest pass band. If you still think that you're getting a wide pass band from a bandpass, you're an idiot. Please stop being an idiot. There you go. That's what it'll look like. Update from the metal shop. These are the old 3 HP top plates from TC Sounds. I forget the guy that I got these from. It was something about like 101. Anyway, he's out of California. He still has some TC Sound parts, but like I send him a shipping label and then he just like never gets it. So, and I've done that like 4 times, and I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I still want to get some more TC Sound stuff off him. We did these before. We did a batch for 4-layer, and I went ahead and had the boys open them up so that we can do 8-layer, which is this one. And the reason why we do this second top plate and we bolt it to it so that we can take advantage of that larger magnet. So like on this one, we didn't do that. I just used the 220s, the ones I just told you about, the Crucible from Volcano Audio. On Crucible, on Volcano, they only used 1, maybe 2 slugs. And so like even on this one, we're using 3 slugs. And then of course on the bigger ones, we're using 4. I'll show you some of the top plates here that we got finished, or I'm sorry, the T-yokes that we got finished, so that I can make some really big monster butthole stuff. I was considering doing powder coat on the steel parts, but it's too much for me. I can't even keep up with what's going on now. That's why I gotta do these videos in little short bursts. All right, so here's some of the T-yokes. These are the standard size 4x4s, but like I showed you in the previous clip, we opened up the top plates so that we could use 8-layer coils, because again, we got that request from you guys, and I'm like, fuck it, I don't care. It'll just handle more abuse. And then we did a couple of experimental 3-inch one. This is that, who is it? What's it? Def Bonce. The one that uses, I have one that's whole, and I have the coil that goes with it. It's like a 2 3/4. It's basically like a Def Bonce version of the Stereo Integrity SQL, also known as the SAV2 from Sundown. Remember that Nick Lemons of Stereo Integrity and Jacob are now, what's his name? Scotty Johnson. They share office space there at Sundown. So just so you know. But so now what we did was I took some old steel from some of those Wet Sounds motors, and we just stacked it up, and then now it's good for 3-inch, so I can do something really tall with it. And then I even think I have some optional thick top plates if we want to do something that it looks underhung anyway. So, but we'll determine it. And then this was a shorter one that I did with a, again, this was actually from the top plate from a Diamond Audio 12, D9 12, and then this is the aluminum part that is an aluminum ring. So people are like, this is the way that you should actually do it, not just glue it on there like Jacob did. You should actually bolt it on there. So that's what I had to do it. If you want to do it, I don't really recommend them because they don't really do anything, but it kind of looks cool. It gives it a little more, you know, availability as far as top plate goes. You really shouldn't have the top plate above that part because that's where your gap is going to be. That's where the flux is going to jump at and connect with the top plate. So it should be good for at least a triple stack, maybe a quad stack, but we'll see. Again, it's just experimental. It's fun to play with stuff like that and see how big you can get. But the big one is that one that I showed you. I think it's a 5 stack. And so this one was a Concept CSP T-yoke that somebody had at Concept had run a galvanized fence post through. And I don't know what they were using it for. It looked like they were using it as like a mace or some sort of mallet to like fuck around. But we were able to get the pipe out, and then I'm like, this is a perfectly good T-yoke. And then I thought what would be cool is if we added, because we can add up to 10 top plates to it with the 3-inch hardware that we get. You don't really want to go any more than that, but whatever. So this one should be good for the big, I think it's a 5 or a 6 stack that I have. So if I did my math right, and then we can also use a thick 8-layer top plate on it as well with the augmented TC Sounds top plate added to it. I gotta sneak the Critter Cruise in the middle so you guys will watch it. Oh, not the Critter Cruise! You never know what's around each corner. The Critter Cruise! Does it feel charged? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Okay, good. Oh, look at that.
Bless you.
Bless me. Uh-oh.
What do I do?
We'll go right a little bit. Let him get by. It would have been better, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
You gotta learn how to negotiate, babe. Give a little, take a little. Remember when I licked your butthole?
Nope.
I was like, gotta give a little, take a little. Uh-oh. That was Damien. Yeah, let me pause this. That was my old friend Damien. I thought he was dead, or he went out to quartzsite looking for gold. He told me this one story where he like had a convert, like he tried to have like a relationship with a cougar. And when I say cougar, I'm talking about a wild cat. I'm not talking about some old lady with big fake tits. See that right there, that brick is out of place, but I'll have Dave and Lucky get rid of it. So yeah, he was talking about how he's like, I swear, the cougar was talking to me, and I was talking to the. I was like, you were on drugs. Like, don't do that. Don't make believe. No, he's a really interesting guy, very talented, and he was in the apprentice program for what, about a year, 2?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he was supporting Gonzo back before it was popular, man. He's the one. Oh, look out for that! Stop. Let me go back and get that. Yeah, troublemaker. So he's the one that got the Gonzo amplifiers, and we did like this really, I don't know, it wasn't quite navy blue. It was a little lighter than navy blue. It wasn't his favorite blue. I think what he really wanted was fairy blue, the tranny blue. But at the time we weren't doing. I didn't know. I didn't know. Who's gonna know? Oh, they will. See, they did a good job over there. Mm-hmm. They had poopy pipes all everywhere yesterday, or the other day, or whatever. If you like diving for scrap, there's a whole bunch of scrap there. Make sure you have your tetanus shot, your booster. There you go. There's me, wave high. The shadow.
Oh.
Shadow. Shout out to Shadow. What was her real name? Pam. Talk about the dykiest of dykes. The lesbianest of the lesbianess with the, she had a full-on fucking mullet, man. It was like a power mullet. And she's like, I'm not gay. And it's like, why do you have a mullet, dude? Like,
she said she didn't have a mullet either.
Yeah, oh, she didn't say, yeah, she said she didn't have a mullet. But she worked with Sherry and her cousin at the, And this is why we call it the Critter Cruise. Let's see we saw them earlier. Oh. I'm acting surprised. I knew this was going to be here. Hello? Hello? Hello?
I don't think it's anybody.
It's a lady? I think it's a lady. Hello? Ma'am? Sir? You gotta go. You can't be here.
Okay.
All right. I'll check back in about 10 minutes. You might be able to find some shelter over at St. Joe's on Broadway. All right. I'll be back in a little bit. See, I'll never be homeless because I don't mind getting fucked in the butthole. As a teenager, I stuck all kinds of stuff in my butthole. I was like, so you gotta put a knotted rag up there and then yank it out right when you're gonna come? And that whole knotted rag thing is bullshit because you gotta soak that thing in lube. Because otherwise that rag, like if it's like a handkerchief, like one of like a do-rag or something like that, it is quite porous. It does not work. And then I already told you guys about the carrot. I peeled the carrot. For some reason, I didn't want a dirty carrot up my butthole. And I wanted it smooth, but the problem was I left like lines in it, like flat spots, like angles, and so it kind of cut in there a little bit. Again, don't just stay away from the butthole. The butthole is where the poop comes out, if you guys don't know. And that's really all it should be used for. Is just letting the poops out. Ooh, big bright sun. Look at that.
A little one.
Da, 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 da. I love it when they're that age. They're so cute. Little babies. They like to jump in. Jumping. I was telling Ash about, I'm like, Liz was in a good mood. She's like, yeah, she was. And I go, I'll just take the good moods when I can get them. Pack-a-rat. 1-800-PACK-RAT. Whee! Dead bird. Yeah, Sherry and I did a cruise on, was it Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday.
Yeah, we saw some critters back here, and I'm like, I just give them the old thumb, like, get out of here. And they're like, okay. I'm like, yeah, beat it. They were eating grape tomatoes that they had dug out of the trash. I was like, yeah, see, there's one there. It's like, I don't recommend that, but, you know, whatever. I don't want to tell people what to do with their lives. I'm not the Mormons. No, I don't see nothing. And then what was really funny was, like, there was this grounding rod right off that motor that they didn't take. I was like, I'm taking this. This is good copper. It's gonna go in someone's loudspeaker. Does JP do that? No. JP don't even know how to make woofers. He just knows how to pump iron and look cool. Hey everybody, are you posting my ads in your social media and annoying the fuck out of everybody? Good job. Welcome to Down for Sound. Oh, I gotta share with you something. Was it BassDad? BassDad was mad at me. He always gets mad at me, and he doesn't like tell me. Like, I think he private messaged me until I blocked him, mostly just because he's annoying and he knows he's being annoying, and I really, whatever. I'd just rather do other stuff. And but anyways, he rebooted on Facebook as Ashy Larry, I think. And he let's see, some sort of drywall stuff order. Mom, that's my butthole. Get out of my butthole.
All right, where now?
Critter Creek, we can check there, and then also the park. And then I've been meaning to get to those what are they called? Grocery carts. I gotta take them back to their.
Oh, one's gone.
Good. Somebody's doing my job for me. That's fine. So, anyways, no. So BassDad is mad at me, but he won't make a video about me because he's a coward. So then he comes on Facebook in like the Bassheads on a Budget forum, and he's like, "Good subwoofer, but Robot Underground is an asshole." Like, he's pretending like, you know, he doesn't know who Robot is. And I was like, okay, whatever. And I go, yeah, he's an asshole. What did he ever do to you? And then of course he never specifies anything, because I don't even know that he's BassDad. He was going by Ashy Larry, which was a Dave Chappelle show character by Donnell Rollins. But anyways, and you know, it was a great little bit by Donnell. But anyways, so he's like Ashy Larry, and he's getting all mad, and then he's all like complaining that he's like, Patrick talks shit about Big D and JP and Kicker, and I was like, yeah, and? So what? Like, you're not supposed to bash people and brands in the forums, because that's part of the rules, is you don't bash them in the forums. You can bash them outside of that, but I guess BassDad got all mad, and he's like, you can't tell me where I can and cannot bash you, Patrick. And I was like, okay. So I just reported him to the admins. That's how easy that is. So, but I just think it's funny. I was like, oh, well, yeah, I remember BassDad. And then, like, if you go look to his channel, you guys should go to his channel and look. Like, he has an interview with JP, and it's only got like 350 views on it. Like, how boring does it have to be? Like, right? JP has millions of fans, right? But yeah, nobody wants to listen to that shit. So nobody wants to listen to BassDad. So, but somehow I'm the jerk for pointing that out. So, and again, I'm coming to you guys from my standpoint, from you know, growing up fucking poor, and then still liking music and audio and wanting to get into all that stuff with electronics and building stuff and using, you know, both halves of my brain. So it's like there's a lot to do with the electronics and the math and physics, and then it also has to look cool and do something good, you know. You can't just be art for art's sake. I mean, you can, but not for me. So I think it's just a fun little thing as far as audio goes. It's for us, I guess they call us neurotypicals, or no, neurodivergents. That's what I am. I got ADD. I want to have ADHD, which is like high definition ADD. Well, there's one dude over there.
Oh, okay.
Just let's go cruise by him real quick and just let him know. No park after dark. So, but so anyways, he's mad at me, and he let his feelings out on the Facebooks. I was like, you're fine.
I know. I just get.
I know, you're nervous. You're so worried, Mama.
I know.
Mama worries too much. If you can, go north of him. There you go.
Oh, north of him?
Well, south. Go to the left. So I think this is the guy I called the cops on the other day because he was passed out. I don't know if he was on drugs or what.
Oh, it's a couple.
Hey guys, just remember, no park after dark, okay?
Yes, sir.
Respect my authority. You may now have cake, or no, what is it? Soda and pie.
Trash.
A little bit. I'm not in the mood for it right now. I didn't see anything, but let's go check it. The weather's just been really nice right now. It's been in the high 60s, low 70s, sunny,
Excuse me.
just very nice. This is what we move here for, or it's what people move here for. Or if you're a snowbird, that's what you visit. Nothing. Don't see nothing. Don't see nothing. Nope. Just normal trash.
It was windy yesterday.
I know. I think it just cleaned it out itself. The vagina sloughs every month.
Oh my god.
The inner lining of the uterus.
Alright.
Sometimes if you're Patrick's older sister, you go, come look at my clumps in the toilet.
She did that?
Yeah, she did that. And then the other one would come home drunk, and then she's got the fucking door open and she's pulling out her tampon because I think she wanted to make sure she didn't put 2 up there. And then I'm like, dude, can you please close the door? And she's like swinging around and throwing it at me. I'm like, nice, Summer, nice. Fuck you, man. I'll just go home. That's fine. But Summer liked to party. She would drink that Dr. Pepper, and then she liked it with the Bacardi, And then by mistake, wink, wink, she would accidentally put the 151 in there. Bacardi, did it kill it?
Yep.
Is there still some?
Nope. They're dead.
So if you guys watch the log, I scooped up all the ants and sent them to the log. I subscribe to the log on the TikTok.
What's the log?
It's just this bass head guy. I stopped there he showed up in my FYP, and I started watching him a little bit, and he's just got these crusty, you know, like super shitty, like Hyundai car that he builds, and the log is the build log. Mm-hmm. Like he's logging the footage of the build. Mm-hmm. And for some reason he got into ants, and the ants were like the most popular thing on his channel. And there was like people in the comments arguing about whether or not this gel that he was using, that he ordered from the ant specialists, you know, on Amazon or whatever. They're like, this gel is good for ants, and people are like, that's not healthy for ants. And then the ants are like, we're happy, this is great, everything's good. And I just think it's funny that, you know, he's into all this stereo stuff, and people, you know, like on my channel, they're like, don't talk about politics, don't talk. I'm like, fuck you, I'm gonna talk about what I want. This is my fucking channel. If you don't like it, then I sneak the critter cruise in the other videos. So that's the way it goes. But I just thought it was funny. Shout out to the log. I don't even know your name. Shout out to the log.
Oh.
What?
Will you check the fuses?
The circuit breaker for the washer. Yeah. All right, guys, back to work. So we had a critter trespass. I don't know if you can see it over there. Beep, against the wall. All they did, it's just pre-made fence. It comes in sections, and they just lifted up the fence and then pulled it over and was able to get in. Because one day I came out and Molly had gotten out, and I was like, how the fuck did Molly get out? And I'm like, I didn't leave the gate open. I don't leave the gates open. And I asked everybody else, and nobody knew, and it's like, that's what happened. So then I put a lock on it. I fixed the gate over there, and I put a lock on it. Then I forgot that I had already gotten rid of the key because we weren't using the lock. So now I gotta cut off the fucking lock and get a new lock.
Paid your dues, don't snooze or lose. They came with the master plan and got you. So know who's opposed to the dominant dark skin. Food for thought is a law for the brother man. P-Dog with a gift from heaven. Tempo 116.7 keeps you locked.
More foam. More foam for you guys. Packing shit. So we opened up to 109 millimeter. So that way we can do the 8-layer coils. This was the T2. Ash and I were able to bond it. I showed her how, basically. And then I'm gonna go back and fill these in. Every time I have like an extra bit, I come back and just fill it. Extra spare stuff in there, so. And then that's gonna go on. I just prepped this. I prepped this backside. And then that'll be that. And then I gotta make sure that this is small enough though for the coil. I forget what the shim is. I think it's actually kind of large. So we may have to, I gotta make sure that my shit is correct on this. Before we go any further. Oh, some of the steel we got back. Which one is this? This was from Dick, from Richard Chavez. This was, at one time, was also a T2. And I think he cracked the ferrite, like it shifted. Yeah, the top plate shifted on him. He got it too hot, and then he's like, "How can I fix this?" And I like, "Here's a video." I just sent a link to somebody like watch the video. And I think it's hilarious on his interpretation of that video. I was like, oh, that's a bad interpretation. So, but, so anyways, he ended up bringing it back, and I traded him the dead, just because just the steel is worth some money to me. And then yesterday I put it on the hot plate, and then you purposely drop it on the cement, and then it busts all this up, and I threw it all away. So, and I was looking at it, and I was realizing that we can actually turn this into a 5-stack. I was like, let's, and it still has a tiny little bit of overhang. You can see that. So I'm like, that'll work. That'll be cool. And then this was a 3-stack, or this turned out to be a 3-stack. This is the one that we did. This is that top plate from Def Bonds. And is this the T-yoke from Def Bonds? No, this is not. So it doesn't matter, because I opened it up to whatever I opened it up to. I think it's 85 millimeter. And then this part is aluminum, but it looks cool. So I'm going to do another one with one of these tops from Diamond Audio. This is from the Diamond Audio D9, the 12-inch, which uses like a weird 3.5-inch coil. So then they turn it down, and that's what it looks like. So, but this turned out to be tall enough to do a triple stack. And then I was doing this one, but I didn't really like it. It didn't have quite as much coverage. It looks kind of chunky monkey. And so I'm like, well, we'll save that for something else. And then this one looked really nice on it. And where I ground it, and then I spray painted it with clear coat. I think it complements this part really nice. So, not that you see the motor, but again, it's just kind of nice. And plus the T-yoke is kind of contoured as well. Let me put this down for a sec. So, see? And this is from some PA driver that we got from, what is it? Field Services over there in Phoenix. So somebody said they wanted the GONZO cone. I think this is too big. I don't quite have enough. Yeah, this is too big. He wanted concave options, and I just don't have a lot. Mostly because it's like, if you leave a lot of space, it looks kind of weird. Like this is a 200 millimeter, and that's just a standard size that China makes. So this one will work though. What do you think of that? I'll send him a picture of that though. This is Riley's. Riley's is done. It'll be cured tomorrow, and then we'll do final testing, and then I'll do the whole, this is the last one I think of this frame. I can't remember, but this is also a T2 motor, Rockford T2 motor. And then we did single spider on this one, and then I told you on Robert's I'm gonna build that T2, and then we're gonna do, oh that's right, he wants to do a Rockford coil. So I'm glad I caught that down before I forgot. Oh no, he wanted to do an 8-layer. So it's hard to keep track of this shit. And then this is the first one that he burnt up, and this one's ready to go again, just like new. Who was it? What is it? Crescendo. That's why we got these from Crescendo. I put the GONZO Junior motor on them. This is the Soft Spider 3-inch from Lord of Bass. This is their tougher one. I wanted to see what the differences were, and then I used 1 ohm single voice coil, GONZO Junior coil. And then this one I posted up, I think today on the gram. This for his local guy, what's his name, Zach, and he wanted a blue 5 series cone, blue stitch, with concave carbon fiber. But the problem is that when you use that cone with a 3-inch coil, there's not enough space. And so I think sometimes if we cut it low enough, like we don't put a lot of epoxy on the top of the cone, sometimes I've been able to get away with using the poly one, which is slightly shaped different. It's slightly shaped different, but I think what we're gonna have to do is do a inner cap convex, and then a convex carbon fiber, and then he wants the blue robot on it. So I was like, yeah, we can do that. And then this is a dual 4 T2, which is almost ready. I think we're gonna do the GONZO cone on this one as well. We just went with a single soft spider. This was the ones that we got from Lord of Bass that were... oh, speaking of which, my complaint with Roger Fosgate. So the T2 series uses a 9 1/4 spider landing for the T2, which is their top woofer at the time for this series. The T1 15 uses 10.5 fucking inches, man. What the fuck? And the whine height is only like, I think it's 45 or 50 millimeters. So here's my 10-inch spider, right? Oh, the other one. I use the TC Sounds one. Barely it fits. But there's a guy in, I think, Mexico that was like, can you sell me a coil and a spider? And I'm like, sure, that's fine. And so what I'm going to do is put an inner ring on here that we fasten to this part, and then it brings it in a little bit. And then that way you can glue to that. And that's how you fix that problem. I think there's a guy named B-Rad or Brad that wanted this one. It's almost done. And then I'm going to do the woofer porn for the 24 tonight, so I can get that out tomorrow. Oh, there's Damien. Do you want to be on camera or no? No. Okay, no. Put your dick back in your pants, sir. Well, fuck a duck. So I'm on my way to the machine shop to drop off some hardware and some Loctite. But all the stuff I made in the last video or last whatever clip, I have to throw out the door because Recoil has a 100 carton order, or is it, no, 1,000 carton order that needs to go out to Amazon, and they need my help. So again, we're still looking for people to help out in the warehouse. It starts out at $20 an hour. Let me know if you can help out, even part-time. We would love 2 full-time people. Again, send me your resume, robotunderground@yahoo.com. Make sure you include a picture ID, and I mean, even if you just want to do cash, like if you don't have the right papeles, you know, then fucking just let me know. We need some help, and we need people that are, you know, honest and kind and helpful and all that kind of stuff. So thanks. Adios. Adios. Go. Bye bye. Policia. Police. See? What a day. Busy, busy, busy. There's a miscommunication this morning, and there was a container that came in for recoil. So we were late for that. Just got back from the machine shop. Those were from the TurboSounds, the 5-inch ones that used on the 24s. So we turned them down to be 8-layer, 4-inch. And because of the big diameter on the T-yoke and the top plate, we're going to do those Neo. And it was funny, Monica at Edge, I had inquired about some top plates for their Cicada Neo motors because I was collecting a bunch of those, which I think they got. Sean does all the returns for Cicada, and some guy approached me about buying a bunch of used equipment, and I was like, these are returns, and he's like, these aren't returns, these are new, blah blah blah. And what they had done is dumpster dive, and Sean, the guy that does the returns, he I guess didn't destroy them properly, and so he got yelled at because I had to ask the management. I'm like, hey, somebody approached me about this. Like, do you want me to buy it, or is it just trash, or what's going on? And so I brought back some of the SKUs, and they were suspicious. Some of the stuff was attached to a theft, but they didn't really want to pursue it. It's messy. It wasn't worth it. And let's see. So anyways, I probably won't be getting any more of the Cicada Neo motors. But anyways, Monica had, I didn't ask for them, and China does this a lot, is where you inquire about a part and then they go ahead and make it so that it's like it's already made, and they're like, here you go, here's the invoice. You're like, I didn't order these, and they're like, yeah, you did. And so you just, it's cheap enough if you just pay it. So I think it was only like $150 plus. It should be on the not this container, but I think the next. And so once I get those will be the in-between spacers to connect the Neo motors, which they'll end up looking like the power pole isolators. I don't know if you can see them up there, where it's like it's like corrugated, I guess would be the word. So I don't know, it's gonna look weird. I think I'm gonna use them for the Wet Sounds motors first, especially for Jonathan that's a different Johnny Delgado. I'm making his motors, and then yeah, because I think I'm out of the Serwin Vega Max Neo motors. But I gotta head back to Recoil. I got Jeremy Hearn's order for some recoil. Also, they finally got me a price list. Shut this up. They finally got me a price list for recoil audio. So if you guys want to do that, let me know. And basically, we can just sign you up to be a dealer. I used to do some other stuff where I could get you more stuff, but the problem is that a lot of these guys that, again, want to be dealers, they don't have a real open mind. And so they don't see a bigger picture. They just see what's in front of them, and they see what's on the paper, and that's all they see. And so I don't have time to really explain bigger pictures to people. And so I just go, okay, we'll just do $1,500. So $1,500 is the buy-in. You get it at dealer price, and the end. And then after, you basically go through me on the first one, because I can show you how to maximize stuff. And sometimes I can get you B-stock or other stuff to help make the purchase larger for you, so that you get more value. I have a stake in that because I want to be able to coordinate with that, and also I want to be able to hand you off to Marty, who handles all the recoil sales, and you be a stable sort of repeat client that knows what they're talking about when they order. A lot of you guys are just so new, you don't know how to order, and it sounds dumb. You're like, I just want this quantity. It's like you got to know more than that. And it's helpful to Marty if you are already aware of some of the things that happen. And so that's why I want to transition a lot of you guys that normally are just working from home and don't have a brick and mortar store, but you do want to offer product and make a little bit of money on the recoil. Also, make sure you pay attention to rates in your area because rates are going up. What I'm talking about is labor rates for installation, and that's because people buy stuff off Amazon and they just want to come into the shop and have you do the labor. And so because you're not making points on the equipment anymore, you got to charge more for the labor. Like typical install now for, like, let's say 212s, just base package, like a base package on a car, you're talking about $400, $500, $450, something like that. Probably $500 with tax. And you're like, damn, that, so I used to find somebody that could do it for like 150, 180 bucks. You can't find that anymore because they're too busy. And so people just start charging more because they can, and that's the end of it. And again, you're not going to make points, too many points on the equipment. And again, that's not what recoil is for. Recoil, and if you watch that BassDad JP interview that I put the link to in the last video, JP talks a little bit about that, where these companies like Scar built their network up and built their brand up by using dealers, and then, like, I found out, like, Scar was like, do you want to be a dealer? I was like, yeah, I want to be a dealer. And so then I fill out the form, I become a dealer, and then you're like, why is the pricing on Amazon cheaper than the dealer price? And so that's because they just want to go dealer direct. They don't really want dealers. But I'm not sure how illegal or like, they don't want to stop people from being a Scar dealer. I should say a fan, like if you're a fan of Scar or whatever. But it's cheaper just to buy it off of Amazon than it is to buy from them. I think on most items. I think the only item that you might save on is if you order by the pallet, and like if you're ordering boxes or something like that. Sometimes you could probably get something cheaper. But again, it depends, and it also depends. They would rather just deal with the customer directly, because that way they can get all the retail points, all the profit. Scar is very popular and it's very affordable, so there's not a lot of points on it anyway. Like, something like Hertz or JL, where the amplifier still costs the same, $80 to make, but they're selling it for $2,000. Retail. So dealer cost on that is probably, $600 to $800. So JL makes their points, and then the dealer makes their points, and then they make their dealers work really hard at that. They make their dealers buy in at like at least 100,000. And then last time I checked, Sundown was doing that as well, where they were asking $100,000 minimum for the year, and now they just deal direct. They don't even want dealers anymore. They're like, nope, fuck you. So the dealers can fight back by simply charging more. So that's what you're going to have to do, and that's where you're going to get your points at, your money. So that's how you're going to get paid. Make sure you get paid up front, guys. Just because, like the fucking Davin thing that I ran into, where I have the text that he agreed to do the batteries for 180, which was a steal, and then he was still a dick. And then we're still going to court over it, and it'll be a year in October. So rather than fight, just get paid up front. The end. And if they don't like it, then tough shit, go somewhere else, because there's nowhere else they can go. But I gotta head back to Recoil. I have a delivery today, that's why I'm in the truck, to UTV Stereo out there in East Mesa, and then I'll be able to get home and do some more builds. I think there's some woofers that are done, but I'll put this video together with some other stuff. Got the Yoda today. Does he want to get over or what? What's going on? It's raining in Phoenix, so it's treacherous. and I'm still heading to Recoil to drop off some packages. Oh, they updated the pricing on the DII series amps. I guess somebody messed up and was putting the retail price, which like for the little 4-channel was like, I don't know what it was, like $549, $449 or something like that. Now they're about $100 or so. Again, this is probably a promotional price until they can establish market and figure out, you know, what people are willing to pay and what they can get away with as far as selling them. And whatever the price says on the website, I of course can get it to you cheaper. And then I typically also include other things that they don't, like on the DII series. I will typically include a fuse holder because they don't. It's just one of those things that, you know, a lot of amp companies, Rockford did this for a while, where they, one year when they were wanted to make more money off accessories, they sold their amps without fuses built in. So there you go. Because to add the fuse to the amplifier is like $1. Let's say it's $1, even though that's pretty egregious. They make, you know, $5, $10 on the accessory to hold the fuse holder. So again, it's just one of those things where they have to look for, you know, you gotta look out for number one. So, and then when companies like that, you know, have that kind of attitude, like, well, I want to make some money, you know, it's like, all right, you're already a multinational, multi-millionaire, but okay, gotcha. So the Martin Shkreli? Martin Shkreli of car audio, right? Is that what we're dealing with? Anyways, I'm going to focus on driving, but I'm heading this way. So somebody was trying to call me. They're like, should I call? I'm like, dude, I do like 300 or 400 texts a day. And that's not including the emails and all the other shit that I do on Facebook and social media. And so I don't have time for that shit. I don't even have time for this except for while I'm driving. And so just be patient. Just text, you know. I had some guy go, he asked me, he's like, well, if I text you, when will I get a text back? And I said, I don't know, dude. You just text and you hope for the best. It's, you know, it's just like going to church. You just pray and then you know, watch your mouth, do your best, pray for the best. That was quick. It's Saturday. I was able to paint this side, which held up pretty good, but the problem is that the moisture falls because of gravity, and so this side got a little bit of surface rust. Those guys did too. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull these apart. They just unbolt here, and then what was it? Yeah, and then we're gonna wash them down with SOS pads, dry them, leave them out in the sun to warm up a little bit, and then we're gonna come back again with the this is what I use, matte clear from, who is this? Rust-Oleum. Get it at Home Depot. It's fine. And then I'm gonna grind up some of these. Like this one got painted, so we're gonna grind it up, and we're gonna just do the grinded look. So somebody commented on Facebook on the T-yokes. They're like, that looks like what Patrick does. Like, yep, that's what I do. Because I don't know. It's sort of like a rebellion finish. Like I do not like, what's the word? Fancy pants. I don't like when people put too much care into, number one, their appearance, number two, into like their cars and things like that. Like if you've ever been to a car show, like Lowrider or Sound Off or whatever, I remember even going as a little kid. My dad loved cars and boats and airplanes, and you know, every one of them would have a sign that says, you have no idea how many gallons of blood, sweat, and tears were put into this, so do not touch, you know. And it's like, it becomes this idolized thing that you can never really use except for the owner, and maybe that's once a month in the spring when it's nice enough to drive out. Again, I like to see stuff that's practical, like that piece of shit. This piece of shit is pretty fucking awesome. I had some guy want to buy it the other day, and I was like, fuck off. And like the tranny's slipping in it, and the engine's probably gonna go soon, and I'm like, I want to pull all that and make the whole thing fucking diesel electric. So again, it doesn't serve me to get a new truck. You're missing the point of the truck. The truck is just to move and haul stuff and allow me to masturbate in there. Maybe camp out once in a while. But that's it. It's not, you don't need fancy. You don't need, what was it, King Ranch or the Ford Platinum or even a Lincoln truck. Like, what the fuck is going on? And do you really need leather for your butthole? No. New client in New Mexico had his, I think it was a relative, I can't remember if it was his brother or whoever it was, bring in some dead subs that, this is cute. I thought, this is so funny. Look at this thing. This is a little Mojo 6.5. It's like something you get off of Wish or something. This box is pretty cool. This was made by Jalapeno over there at, what is it? Unique Car Audio over there on Arizona Avenue in Elliott. We were going to do a blow through where the magnet sort of fits in the back slot, and things have changed, and so we went ahead and put this is a doubled up panel that we laminated with liquid nails to keep it from rattling. And then well, fucking Dave, he didn't do that, so now I gotta, that's what I needed the circle for. I gotta go get some stuff lasered. I gotta get a circle for this. I told him to put 2 layers on it, but he didn't. I guess he doesn't remember the old Lexus ad where they show how not only do they put damping mat on their open panels like the floor pans, but then they double it up with steel and a layer of damping material in between. So we added these braces, and I think I got to get this correct in order to figure out which subwoofer, but it's for underneath a Chevy pickup truck back seat. But that'll be fun. It's kind of oversized, but it'll sound really, really good. And then I wanted to show you the T-yokes that got finished. I know I didn't spray them yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and grind all of these so that way they're just uniform fucked. And then I'm gonna go back and spray them with the clear coat. I saw Josh Pastrana this morning. He brought me these 2/8s. This one might still work. Again, after you do a refoam on it, it's like, good job, it's still an 8 though. And then this one he was running, I think, free air in the RV. This is the 6000. What does it say? It says 4 ohm. 4 ohm single voice coil. I mean, it looks great. I loved this look. This is from the early 2000s, late 90s, I think. And then he brought this fucker back. This one finally failed. This was a Dyer Coda motor, Koda, single slug, not too big. This was Dan's idea of using the stackable top plates. Each one has a, it's been like halved, where half of it is the, sticks out a little bit, and then the bottom half has the opposite, so that way it ends up with a split gap, basically like this. Let me show you. So it ends up looking like that, as far as the gap goes. And that's to do the XBL. But these things actually do really well if you put a longer voice coil in them, like overhung, like a regular voice coil, then they really fucking move. So I'm excited to get this one back, and we'll rebuild it probably as a 12 and use it for some home theater. And then lastly, I brought in this, let me turn this off, just in case that's making too much noise. Josh is in Las Cruces, and this is a company, Genius Audio, Competition Extreme. The failure was the surround. This looks like from the same build house, which I think is Jin Lida. JDL is what, JLD, that's what they call it. But coil still looks good. Spider pack is a bit excessive, but they're 1, 2, 3, 6 layers. So I'm gonna go ahead and repair this for him. That looks totally like American bass. So again, American bass isn't even American bass. American bass is made by Jin Lida. So, but we're gonna go ahead and do that recone over the weekend, and then also finish his 3 HP Neo motor, which I gotta get. Yeah, I gotta get the drawing done so that I can give it back to him. Let me show that to you. So I took the liberty of having the second 4-hole pattern added to the top plate of, this is my spare. So Josh's is already prepped and ready for glue. This is the spare one that I found. I actually have built several where I flipped it over, and then this would be the bottom, and then this was the top, and then we used risers, spacers, to come up and then mount it to that. Because again, it's a 36 millimeter gap. It works, doesn't care which side it is. So, but in this format, this is the T-yoke. And I've showed this to you before. It's a 2-piece. You can see the seam right there. So they heat up either one or both pieces, and then they slide them into one another, and so they make a really good contact, and then they cool, and then you usually polish this off. I'm going to do basically the same thing, but we're going to do it's going to do polished and then chrome. So, and then Neo slug. So we painted that on the outside. I grinded it to get epoxied. That goes like that. Sorry, I'm staring at my work, not the phone. And then that goes on top. So I think some of the changes that I'm going to make, and I wanted to show you guys this. So we're going to add both 4-hole patterns. And then I also wanted to add the 127 and 135 both hole circles so that you can use the TI frame, both version 1 and version 2 that you see on lower to base. So that's the changes I wanted to make. And I wanted to show you what happens when you do that. See what happens? Tilo didn't really plan for that. So if you guys are okay with that look of the threads coming through, that's fine. Otherwise, what I would do is either make this a big thick, like a wedge, like this, like a chamfer 45 on the drawing, and so that way you don't see that, you don't see the threads coming through. Hold on, I've been really gassy lately. Shit the bed, the night before last. Got it everywhere. Oh my God, it was such a fucking mess. But so if you guys are okay with that, I do want to make some changes, mostly because I don't want any confusion about the old design versus the new design. They will look similar. So again, if you can just use your imagination real quick. See, that's what the original looks like. And then I would keep all this steel and just do like a wedge. It'll still have the same shape, but I think it'll give it personally a better look. And then the other thing I was going to raise is the pole up about at least 10 millimeter, just to help the coil when it leaves the gap. Other than that, you don't really need a tall pole, because the wind height that you use on it is 60 millimeter, and it should stay in there pretty good. The only other idea that I had was to make this taller, thicker, so that way, or even use like a double slug of Neo, something like that. I would love your input. I haven't really received any real confirmation of people that want to buy these for $200 pre-sale. I think people want them all for like $100, and I'm like, that's not going to happen. That's like very close to production cost, and so no. And then if I have to buy all 100 myself, then I'm going to sell them for market, which is like $350 right now. So again, I would love your input, but this is basically the design that I wanted to get. And then as far as the Neo slug, I wanted to do like probably like a black anodized or painted or even powder coat. I think a powder coat would look really rad. What you do is you powder coat the magnet ahead of time, and then you come back and grind both surfaces that are going to get glued, and then that way they stick. Now this doesn't have any bolts, and it wasn't really made for that, so I'm not going to do it on this version. Maybe like in future versions we can do a different Neo setup with bolts and everything like that. But this, again, I want to kind of stick to the original design, but I wanted to add some features that can help update it and also make it more useful for a lot of the frames that exist in the market now. So, but the diameter of the top plate will remain the same. I think I wanted to do Just a little bit of charge on this magnet. A little bit. I don't want to do the side posts. This one doesn't even have the side posts. Tilo found out real quick that that frame does not have enough beef. Here it is. That frame does just not have enough beef, and you can see what he did because he had already had these all done, which was that there's just not enough material right there to hold the magnet. People were breaking these, and so then he went back and retrofitted these by putting the little green stopper or the little gray stopper in there. And that's just a little hole plug that you can get tooled up. And then these he had turned, either he did or I did. The other problem with these is that they didn't always fit snug like that, so you had to open them up just a tiny bit more so that they would fit on there. And then there should be, there's a little bit of give. And that's what you want, actually, because if you get too close, it doesn't always turn out. So, but, I mean, I like that it fits over the top. It doesn't need to. You can actually shave those if you wanted to make the whole thing flat, but, or even cut them here and then use this as a passive. That's what he did as well. And then later on, he did that with the TI frame. But, and then this has got the 4 terminals, so you can do quad coil if you wanted. And I would love to bring that back as well. Like, I really admire Tilo's ingenuity and his vision. But again, he didn't even have enough money, and things cost a lot, especially back then. This is like late 90s, early 2000s that he was thinking about this stuff. And he just didn't have enough money to execute it. And also the China was not as developed as it is now, where, you know, again, like I said, production cost on this is $100. Production cost on this motor back then was probably about $200. And so then he's got to sell it for, you know, maybe $300 or $400, depending on how he does distribution. So, but yeah, so give me your input about that. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? Oh, check out that Genius Audio. I'll put a link to it in the description if I can find anything on the web. But that's actually a really good brand for rebadging. I think, let me go check it real quick. So this is easy enough to cover up with like a carbon fiber cap. Let's see if there's a decal on the back. Yeah, just a simple decal. You can get that off with some naphtha, and presto, now it's your brand. And that's the cheapest way to get stuff that you can badge for your brand, is to buy stuff off the shelf and then rebadge it. Oh, today I'm going to go ahead and assemble Robert's motor. Robert's motor is fine. It fits the 8-layer. So we're going to do the 8-layer on this one. This one has the original 99 millimeter T-yoke, T-yoke pole. So we're going to use the T2, the new T2 coil on this one. And it's good that we're going to do 5 stacks just to give it a little more clearance, because that coil is like 80 millimeters. So you really want that fucker to swing. And then of course it's already drilled out for the TI frame. So that's going to be a fun little woofer to make. Just so you know, if you want a super woofer, this one is available. This is the Sundown Team coil. There's the part number for PE. This one was a dual 1 4-layer. I went ahead and removed 2 layers because this top plate is crooked. And so if you make the coil a little bit thinner, it'll still shim up good enough where it'll work. So, and that seems to be the case. So, but I think I'm going to build this one out as a 24, just because with a motor like this, you probably don't want to ship it. If you do, you need a crate because it's so fucking heavy. But that one's for sale. That one I'll do as a 24 for, fuck it, I'll do it for the same, which is 1,600. So we'll do that one 1,600 shipped if you want to do it as a 24 or 21, same price. But that's a super duper woofer that I was going to build as an LMS Ultra GONZO Ultra. But like I said, the top plate is off center a little bit. And so I'm actually going to do the new ones, the new steel that I got from the TurboSound's 24-inch woofers for that one. Real quick, I wanted to talk about Dante's HCCA. As you can see, the pole is actually not that tall. I used a triple stack 1-inch slugs that were 255. Fuck it, now I gotta measure. I was gonna show you something on the computer, but it like crashed on me. There we go. After the 5th try. What was it? I don't know, I'm gonna have to rebuild this today. I'm gonna try the what is it? Chrome. Yeah, I'm gonna try the Chrome OS. So, where does Captain Kirk live? In space. See, I learned that one in the Air Force. The other one they liked doing was pickle. Let me see. All right. Fuck it. I forgot what I was going to show you now. God damn it. What was it? These got done for an OEM that we build for. This is the convex, also known as bubble, 180 millimeter. And then this is concave, 200 millimeter. So for Zach Wimmer. He's getting those 2 packed up today. Sorry for the delay, Zach. Just got fucking busy, and then I got roped into Recoil. I gotta send him a bill for labor. But we'll do Riley's today. Speaking of which, Riley signed up for the Patreon page, patreon.com/robotunderground. Guess who's gonna get used condoms in the mail now? That's right. If you guys want on the list, if you guys want me to abuse you in your texts and send you boobs, that's what you do. That's what you should do. Let's measure Dante's magnet real quick on the HCCA. Here it is. So I was going to do a separate video, but now I'm kind of doing these compilation videos. So we'll just put it all into one thing, which is that this is the OD was 250. Yeah. So it's 250 millimeter. And then the ID is quite large at 140 millimeters, so we can actually put more ferrite in here if we wanted to. You just have to make sure you have room for the coil. Now this one chipped off. Again, this material is ceramic. It's like flint, so you can see that. Now, if you really wanted to, you could mill that with a diamond blade and make it all even and then reuse it, but I don't have time for that right now. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and calculate what the volume displacement, how much material is there, and you measure that typically in cubic inches or cubic centimeter. I would measure in cubic centimeter, and you can, because of the metric system, you can also do it in milliliters. So basically what you do is you have, like, say 2 liters of liquid, and then you put in it's like a measuring type of tub. You put this in there, and whatever milliliter goes up, that's how many cubic centimeters it is. If I'm wrong, correct me before I calculate that. But I also want to then verify. You do the A equals pi r squared, which gets you the area of a circle, and then I think it's times the depth to give you the volume, and then you have to measure, you want to measure this as a whole cylinder, and then you want to remove this cylinder minus whatever volume this is, and that will give you the total volume of this, all right? So then we come back here to Dante's HCCA, and then we can probably do a different material, or even columns or whatever we wanted to do to equal the same amount or more material, ferrite. This is the high quality stuff that I got from the Volcano Audio buyout, which was it's made by Crucible out of Kentucky. So, and then what I did was, while I was at the machine shop, I went ahead and added at least the 135 bolt hole circle, and then re-drilled the other one, which was an 8-hole by number 10, and that's by the new owners at Orion that do that. So I'm going to go ahead and grind this up again, and then this will sit on there like that, and then I have to re-glue the heat sink that goes on the pole. Oh yeah, I watched that video too by Digital Designs talking about their crow's feet Kevlar and carbon fiber laminate mix. That's cute and all that they show that kind of production, but there's no way they can keep up with demand with a production line that small. So they might do some stuff here, but not everything. And again, it's not that it's not that I want to discount them for hiding that fact. It's just that some people are prejudiced and think that good stuff can't be made or doesn't get made in China. And that's not the case. Some of the best equipment in the world is made in China. Now, the company that's importing it needs to make sure that their specifications are met. And you need to be very exacting on what you demand. So, and will it cost more? Yes. However, it's still cheaper than having an American engineer try to, make a living, pay a decent wage. The problem is just cost of living is too high here. That's all. And so then people want more wage. Ooh, shut up, poor people. Live in your little shack and take your $7 an hour that I give you. You're lucky to get the $7 an hour I give you. That's just not acceptable in this country anymore. And so if you want anything done, it's going to cost you a lot of money. And there are still countries like China that can do really high quality work. You just have to be very specific about what you want. So I will give you the dimensions on this one, ID, OD, just to have it on record. And then also one of the other things is when David was getting the ferrite off of this, he put it on the hot plate, and it ended up this glue joint ended up failing, which I was glad for. But the problem is that this back heat sink, which I thought it was cute that I think they just used like a silicone adhesive on the DD driver, and it just pokes in the butthole, and they just put a little bead here and then a little bead out there and just pressed it on. Does it help? Technically, yes. Does it help a lot? Not really. So, but the problem with heating this whole thing up is that this thing is only held on by epoxy, and you don't want that epoxy to fail out in the field. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do is fill this gap with the devil's jizz to kind of help bind it to the bottom plate. Hopefully there's no... we'll do it in small steps, because you don't want it to drip down and then come out the holes, right? Nobody likes a drippy hole. But and then the same with the T-yoke one. But I think that was it for Dante's. And then we're gonna it'll look a little different. I want to do the big cheese wedges like on the this guy, like the Rockford. Rockford did that. I think the first guy to do it was probably Nick at Incriminator Audio. So he did a wedge design, probably on the Warden, one of the bigger subs in the line. And it looked cool. It looked really cool. Expensive? Yeah, fuck yeah. But, whatever. If you're an innovator in the industry, again, I don't really blame the people that have the high asking price if it sells. Do you see what I mean? So if somebody wants it bad enough, like that stupid critical mass. So if somebody wants to pay $13,000 for a woofer, and is it on sale? Yeah, it used to be $40,000. Does it cost $100 to make? Yes, it does. But again, and that's when you go, well, time for capitalism, right? You guys like capitalism, and it's always the like crypto bros and shit like that are like, yeah, I love capitalism, and it's like, again, there's other ways to be, there's other ways to have things and still have quality work. I would love to just do this design work as an artist in my spare time if I didn't have to pay bills. But here I am. I got to pay bills. That's sorry. That's why I was telling you about the Patreon. Get on that. Fucking send me $3 a month. Just as like a hey, Patrick, I love you. I want to sniff your balls. I'm like, oh, I like sniffing my balls too. We're good buddies. I think that was it. Oh, I wanted to test this one today. This is the regular Vato Extreme quad stack, not the Supreme, and but it's got a 10-inch spider on it. That's what I wanted to see, the differences in parameters for that. And then that one's ready to go. We just got busy the other day, and then Steven over at Recoil needed Ash for the whole day yesterday to get it out to, who was it? I forget what cities they were, but it was like 14 pallets for Amazon. Which is a lot it was 1,000 boxes. It was crazy. And I showed up at the end of the day, well, right before UPS pickup. so that I can get my packages out that way. And then I was like, hey, do you need any help? And he's like, yeah, we need help. And so then I ended up staying for about 2 or 3 hours helping those guys out. I think that was it. Oh yeah, we can do this today, and then get that out for John. I also got to prepare for court on Tuesday. So my court assigned attorney wanted to have he wanted to have a meeting, and he wanted me to go downtown, and I don't understand why. I just wanted to have a conversation over the phone, and I felt uncomfortable about that. What's weird is I don't know how much of that is just that he's a young person, and for some reason young people like living in the city, which I think is terrible. I don't like the city. It's too crowded. I mean, talk about a homeless people problem. You guys thought that this area was bad. Downtown is especially bad because there's more people with money down there. So I don't know if it was that, or if my attorney is somehow turning me over to the police for some other fucking bullshit. And so people are like, oh, you're Patrick, you're paranoid. I'm like, no, dude, they took me to jail for 6 days and they didn't even have probable cause. And then the quote unquote crime of that they had a witness for was taking the phone out of someone's hand, which is a misdemeanor. And that's all they could indict me for. Like, they didn't have the quote unquote victim of that I kidnapped, right? That they're accusing me of kidnap. They didn't have him make a statement in front of the grand jury. No, they had his brother talk about taking a phone out of somebody's hand. And so now all of a sudden that gives them the indictment to get me into court over a misdemeanor that I spent 6 days in jail for. So it's crazy. I don't know what the fuck is going on. This thing stinks to high heaven, and I'm definitely going to let the judge know that that's where I think this is. Especially with that Jetta Green stuff that happened with the Superior Court Prosecutors Department. And you got to remember that all these lawyers picnic together. These are all bar association, bar guild. What's the word? Frats. It's a fraternity. This is their life. That they have taken upon themselves to be in charge of society, right? Because that's how you rule society, is you pick and choose who you want to prosecute, who needs punishment, even though they didn't do anything wrong and there's no injury. And then you go after them, and you either cause them damage with court fees or hassle or their time or threaten their family. What it looks like is mafia and crime family, to me anyway, but we'll see about that. But anyway, somebody was asking me about, what's up with court. That's what's up with court. So I'm going to go ahead and prepare some stuff for it's Tuesday. If you want to show your support, I can just text me direct 602-312-6504. I can give you the information if you want to sit in or just meet me there. It's in downtown Phoenix. And if you want to come out and just be a fan and support, that's great. If you want to come out and bully me, that's your prerogative as well. And call me names in a courtroom, go for it. But anyways, that's happening on Tuesday, and I hope they're just gonna kick the can down the road, because again, I've been trying to go through the videos, and it's very traumatic for me to go through the videos. Because number one, because all I can think about is that I didn't hurt anybody. There's no cause, there's no damage to anybody's property, just a bunch of hurt egos. And it was so I want to know who was in charge of calling in SWAT and calling in more people when, they're like, come out and talk to us, Patrick. I'm like, with all these cops, why would I come out and talk to you? There's no obligation for me to go out there. There was no obligation, none. So it's sort of like, they didn't have any probable cause. You've seen all these videos where the cops just come up and they go, show me your ID. And you're like, for what? You need to articulate the suspicion. You're investigating a crime, and then all of a sudden, you're part of this crime that they're investigating, and you're like, fuck off. So, and I was watching this, I think TikTok last night about this guy that, there was a complaint in a apartment complex, hotel. And the cop showed up, and the manager's like, there he is, that's the guy that was causing the ruckus. And so causing a ruckus is not a crime. You know, even if you get a complaint, it's not a crime. And then they go to ID him. He's like, I'm out of here, man. He just starts walking away. They taser him, and they end up, he ends up like elbowing a cop in the eye, and then they try to tase him again, and he stops the tase with his hand. And so then they charge him with all these felonies, and he's looking at like 5 years in prison. And then they go back and review, and they're like, oh, yeah, we didn't really even have probable cause. He didn't commit any crimes. Yet the police were ready to ruin his life over something they were wrong about, right? And then that other case recently, I think it was in Texas, about the cops were chasing some pair of guys that was a contractor that knew of an empty house that they could hide out at. They were being chased because they were messing around with some young girl. You know, I can see why they would get chased, because that is worse than murder, I guess, is protecting someone's innocence. But anyways, they go after that guy, and they end up wrecking the house that he had hid in, which was the owner was an old lady that she was in, I think, Montana or something like that, in her summer home, and the winter home was, or it was a rental too. I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyways, the cops busted up the whole fucking house only to get inside, and the dude had already offed himself, and which I don't blame him. Again, the cops, the way that they feel about that as a crime is like insane. Like, what are you doing? You're trying to ruin someone's life. Anyways, that's, you guys, when you finally grow up and start having educated, real opinions, then we can talk. Otherwise, you're just idiots when you guys start calling me names like Chomo and all this kind of stuff, as if I'm some sort of sympathizer to people that abuse other people. Not at all. But anyways, continue with your criticism of me. That's fine. But so the old lady's like, hey, motherfuckers, to the cops, you busted up my house. You need to pay me. And the cops are like, nope, sorry, we were in the pursuit of justice. We're not liable for this. And what was funny was I actually saw two paths for this lady to pursue, and she actually pursued I don't want to say it's a more mainstream one, but she ended up using the claim that number one, there was the immunity claim that I think it was the county, because of his sheriffs, the county had made, saying, hey, we're immune because we're seeking justice, so we can do whatever the fuck we want. We can kill whoever we want. We can destroy whatever we want in the pursuit of justice. And the problem with that is that they ended up taking this old lady's property and ruining it. And she's like, you know what? This falls under eminent domain. And she ended up winning. And so because the county and many municipalities, the cities, often will claim all kinds, including here in the city of Mesa, where they claim eminent domain and then take your shit. And then they go, well, we're going to pay you market price, even though it's worth way more. Because they did this to some guy over in East Mesa, where they wanted to build a fire station or something like that. And then they never built the fire station, but they ended up robbing him out of his land and all this other stuff. And anyways, it's so fucked. So, but anyway, she used that argument in court, saying that, no, this is eminent domain. You guys grabbed her property, you need to compensate her at least fair market value. And so that went up, and I think it was in the 6th Circuit, and right now it's standing, but then there's a lot of other courts that are like, we want to overturn, and I'm like, don't touch it. Just let it go. Again, these, I don't even want to call them authorities. These people that feel like they're part of the government, they feel like they're an authority, are not. It's all fraud, guys. You just got to challenge it. Now, do I want to go challenge that on Tuesday? No, I don't want to get into that, because that's, again, these people take this fucking personal, as if I'm attacking their livelihood. I'm like, I'm sorry you built your house on a pile of sand based on fraud and stealing the rights of other people. Like, and then you claim to be the custodians of society, yet all you do is molest people. So again, this is me standing up to molesters. This is not right now they're molesting me. They're molesting my time. They're molesting my energy. They're molesting my pocketbook and threatening my wife and threatening my life's work, which is all of this. This is it. I don't have a 401k. I don't have any of that. So, but this is all going to help take care of me in my old age. Otherwise, it's just death. So, but anyways, I encourage you to, I have a information packet now that helps you get started and helps you start changing your mind and seeing the world for what it is rather than what you've been indoctrinated to see. You know, like when the fucking dare cop comes and tells you how, you know, addictive and terrible drugs are, yet they're, you know, stealing your weed and smoking it in the car, and then fucking underage girls because they know they can get away with it. So, yeah, not a fan of molestation at all in any form. I think that was enough preaching. Sorry. Let me end this with some woofer porn, and then we'll get you guys going. Adios. Adios. Go. So bud. Policia. Police. See? Now back to the DD video, which again, I'll put a link to in the description. It was just interesting to see how, quote unquote, the professionals do it. Because I figured out a lot of that stuff just on my own. And a lot of it is just trial and error. And so I was just interested in, number one, to see how much bullshit they were full of. And they're not full of bullshit. It's just, it's expensive. It shouldn't cost that much for what they charge. And it doesn't cost that much. But again, that's capitalism, and I think it's funny the way that if you go, these guys cry typically free market. They're like, free market, let me make as much money as I want. And then when somebody comes in and competes with them, then they want the government to step in and go, hey, we want a monopoly too. And then they just pay Congress, you pay enough bribes, and what do you know, you get your monopoly. So, but yeah, that's that whole thing with TikTok too. Don't talk about TikTok. TikTok's evil. No, it's not. You guys are dumb. If you still watch commercial television, you are dumb. Stop watching commercial TV with commercials in it. Diameter. Let's do. It's 24 minus. What would it be? 1.5 inches. In fact, we'll just do 2 inches. So we'll do 22. Take it. No, we'll take it. See, because you're supposed to measure from the top of the surround to the top of the surround. You can also measure from here to the top, whatever. It's 24 inches here, so we'll do 23, 22 on the other one, and we'll do 21. So we'll do 21 inches. Again, it's sort of a guess. Even if you're off by a little bit on the VAS, which that affects the VAS as you've seen in several videos. I gotta put the mask on. It does affect the VAS, but the box requirement is still around the same. So again, it's fluid. It's not. Can't even see the button. There we go. FS is 32.3, which it'll drop a little bit more. Always remember that the FS will drop over time. That's the quote-unquote break-in. Again, it doesn't really affect box requirement. It does, the specifications will vary, but again, it doesn't affect the general box requirement. So, but let's see, FS was 32.3, QTS is 0.48, so you can put it in sealed or ported. VAS is 9.3 cubic foot, which is all on par. This is a really great car audio, the way that it is, which is I just used one spider of the ones that we imported, and then a control spider. And I'll show you that control spider here in a second. It's a 3-layer Nomex that you get from the Lord of Bass. This one. So, and I think you put it on this way. Yeah, this is right side up. And then you can fill that whole tray with epoxy. And then this is the spider that limits the excursion and controls most of it. And then the other one, which is these guys, it ends up being really kind of soft. It's like a medium soft. It's not a super soft like a TC Sounds. TC Sound spider is really soft. And it may seem even like, you're like, oh, that's not even really very soft. Wait till you compare it to like a JL. JL's is like super floppy butthole like this. This is super soft. And then even after break-in, it gets even softer. So it's almost like nothing's there. So like a lambskin condom. It's like nothing's there. So anyways, that's it. I wish you guys all to be star boys and fuck shit up. Whether you believe it or not, the powers that be find men to be their greatest threat. And if you're a man that's aware and pissed off and you have time and money and you're not on their side and you're not taking the bribes, you are a threat. Remember, right? You either take silver or lead when dealing with criminals, when dealing with the mafia, when dealing with a cartel. So you have to decide for yourself, do I want to take a stand and finally make a difference in people's lives, even if it's for, you know, however long the American Revolution lasted, which was like not even 20 years before the bankers came in and fucked shit up again. And the revolution doesn't even need to be like that. It can be more like the end of, what was it, Matrix 2 or 3, or no, yeah, 2, which is where the computer, or no, it was the Oracle and then that other dude sit down and they just kind of have like a peace talk where they're like, look, if people want to get out of the Matrix, fucking let them get out of the Matrix. That I think is the best solution. That is the closest thing that you can get to a win-win, because again, this planet is too busy, it's too big, it's too messy. There's so many varying opinions and motives and things like that. I think that's the only way to peace. But again, I'm open to discussion if you guys want to talk about it and be mature about it and actually try to work on this. This is the work of your lifetime. This is the work of 10 lifetimes of your children. You know, if you're interested in that sort of thing. I am, and that's what I feel like I'm here on earth for. If you want to get spiritual, I don't know why I think that. It just seems to be my goeth with the floweth, which is a saying that I made up for the church's zealotology. My stupid real fake church. So, which is, you know, again, I think it's funny when I tell people about the church's zealotology. They're like, is that a real church or a fake church? And I'm like, well, apparently the standard for being a real church is being worth billions and molesting kids. I don't do that. So the church's zealotology does not do that. So I guess it's a fake church. So if that's your standard. Anyways, love you guys. Have a great weekend. We'll do a bunch of short videos here to kind of bring the rhythm back of the channel. I don't want to do just long videos. I think sometimes just having a short video of like woofer porn and stuff like that is a fun time, a fun escape where you can watch it on your lunch break or whatever while you're at your shitty job that you hate because you got some dumb bitch pregnant after the club and now she's hitting you for child support. So, love you. Bye.
You